Welcome back, everybody. It's movie time. All right, so today we're going to break down Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. All right, so we start out on Coruscant, the most bureaucratic planet in the galaxy. The Republic is about to go to war, but nobody really knows what's going on, except that it involves a ton of trade disputes, again, and mysterious clone armies. The Jedi Council have clearly decided to throw a big party, of course. Sends Obi-Wan Kenobi and his young apprentice Anakin Skywalker, now just a little bit older and angrier and less adorable, to protect Padme Amidala, who has just survived an assassination attempt. Woo! Why is she so important, you ask? Well, she's basically the only politician who doesn't want to start a galaxy-wide war, which is an extremely rare trait these days. But before we can get into any deep political discussions, someone tries to kill her with poison because, well, it's Star Wars, and people just can't seem to live without attempting murder in every corner of the galaxy. Must just not be a human thing. So, Padme, Obi-Wan, and Anakin have a nice little protect the senator road trip. And Anakin, ever broadening, angsty teen, he's like a galactic version of Edward Cullen, keeps trying to charm Padme with his attempts at being the chosen one, and trying to convince her that they should be together, because he's totally the hero in this story, right? Padme, on the other hand, is like, I was your mother's age when you were a child, and now I'm supposed to fall for you? Excuse me. That's terrible. And now I'm supposed to fall for your whiny, I hate sand nonsense? Yes, this is the movie that gave us the iconic I don't like sand line, which is somehow supposed to be romantic. But it's honestly more like the ramblings of a confused teenager. Go figure. But Anakin, he's all about Padme, even though she has repeatedly made it clear that she's not interested in his moody Jedi vibes. This movie basically sets the stage for the most awkward relationship in the galaxy. So, while Anakin is busy being a space creep, Obi-Wan is off actually doing Jedi detective work. He tracked down the mysterious assassin to a backwater planet called Kamino, where he discovers a whole army of clones. It was mysteriously ordered by the Jedi Master named Sifo Dyas, who may or may not have been a Jedi Council member who went rogue. But let's not get too deep into that. It turns out the clones were created by Jango Fett, a bounty hunter who has the most iconic helmet in the galaxy, and somehow managed to find time to father a clone son named Boba Fett. That kid is going places, in a slightly different timeline. Anyways, Obi-Wan tries to be the Jedi detective, but after an awkward conversation with Jango, it's clear that this is all just the beginning of the most convoluted conspiracy in the galaxy. Obi-Wan also fights a giant sea monster, because why not? And then makes his way back to the Coruscant with a bunch of questions and no answers, because apparently the Jedi Council thinks sitting on their hands and talking in circles is the best way to handle galactic crisis. That sounds a whole lot like our normal U.S. government in these days. Meanwhile, Anakin and Padme go on a romantic getaway to Naboo, where Anakin spends the entire trip talking about his feelings, because nothing says I love you like an existential monologue about slavery. The pair spends a lot of time being awkward, with Anakin touching Padme's shoulder and saying things like, I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, irritating, and it gets everywhere. I'm still not sure if he was trying to be romantic or just trying to get a job as a sand salesperson. Padme, being wise, politically savvy senator, she clearly knows she's being swept off her feet by a guy who has no idea how to talk to a woman. But she tolerates it anyways because, well, he's a Jedi and he's definitely not going to end up evil, right? Now we get to the good stuff, the Clone Wars. The clone army is activated, and the Republic is about to be swept into a full-on galactic conflict. This leads to the most epic battle ever, with Jedi flying around in battleships, using lightsabers, and making the most dramatic speeches while being shot at thousands by thousands of clones. Excuse me. But there's one tiny problem. They're fighting an army of clones who were made to fight for the Republic. So basically, every soldier has the exact same face. This is why I imagine the Clone Wars as a giant game of Guess Who, where the answer is always the guy who looks like the other guy. Anyways, in the middle of all the chaos, Anakin does the unthinkable. He kills a bunch of sand people, including women and children, in a fit of rage because they kidnapped his mom. Yeah, Star Wars really knows how to escalate things. He confesses this to Padme, who's like, whoa, okay, maybe you need a hobby, like yoga, or knitting, anything but the whole mass murder thing. But don't worry, Anakin's emotional journey only goes downhill from here. He's got anger issues, daddy issues, and a huge destiny to live up to, all of which will lead him to being the galaxy's most dramatic villain in the future. The movie culminates in the Battle of Geonosis, where Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme find themselves surrounded by thousands of battle droids. But don't worry, because just when it seems all hope is lost, the Jedi show up with their shiny new clone army, and things get way cooler. We finally get to see Jedi and clones fight side by side, all while Yoda leads the charge with an epic battle scene that will make you want to shout, "This is the way!" It's all very dramatic and action-packed. But in the midst of the fighting, we get the real kicker. Count Dooku, aka Christopher Lee, in full evil wizard mode, reveals that he's secretly working with the Sith and that the galaxy is about to descend into chaos. Anakin, still not understanding what balanced force means, falls deeper into darkness, while Padme, oblivious to the fact that her love story with Anakin is about to go horribly wrong, is just happy to be alive. So now, the Republic is on the brink of war, Anakin and Padme are super in love, and Obi-Wan is probably wondering how he got dragged into this mess in the first place. This movie ends with the promise of more conflict, more betrayals, and most importantly, the growing rise of the Sith. And that's The Attack of the Clones, a movie filled with epic battles, bad dialogue, questionable romantic decisions, and tragic origins of the galaxy's favorite future villain. What could go wrong, right? Anyways, so that's it for this one. We're going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed this, then please like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you can find out when I release my next one. This one was a little bit better than the last one. You got to admit. Come on. All right. Everybody have a great night. Take care.